Part 12. First Marriage Then Love, Mr. Mayor Please Be Kind. Author, Zhao Nuan Nuan. Chapter 113. Where did you go? I couldn't find you when I turned around. Luo Xiaoxian, who was guarding the door of the dormitory with 2 lunch boxes, complained when she saw Chu Xia approaching. Chu Xia smiled at her, and took a lunch box from her hand. Let's go eat first. Where did you go? Luo Xiaoxian looked her up and down. Who is bullying you again? Why do I feel that you are not in a good mood? No one bullies me. Let's go and eat, Chu Xia said while dragging her to the cafeteria. You must have something to do, otherwise, why would you have such an ugly face? Luo Xiaoxian didn't want to leave awkwardly. We are good friends, you can't hide something from me. I didn't hide it from you, I didn't hide it from you. At this point, it's not that Chu Xia didn't intend to tell Luo Xiaoxian, but with the character of the other party, she had to find a time to talk to her, otherwise, she had no foundation anyway. You two, are you too heartless? Lu Meijun ran out of the dormitory with a stinky face, and rescued Chu Xia just in time. Sorry, I didn't see you, so I thought you went to the cafeteria. Luo Xiaoxian slapped his forehead fiercely. I forgot you are still in the dormitory. Lu Meijun glared at the two of them bitterly. Those who have no conscience are all those who have no conscience. Thank you for waiting for me to eat together. Chu Xia's concise and clear sentence made Lu Meijun most angry. Okay, I forgive you this time. If there is another time, I won't play with you. Luo Xiaoxian poked at Chu Xia with a funny expression on her face. Please please me, please, otherwise, when I leave, you will become a lonely family. TCH, am I so narrow-minded? Lu Meijun hugged Chu Xia, and stared at Luo Xiaoxian provocatively. From now on, the two of us will be together every day. Are you envious? Are you jealous? A little bit. Luo Xiaoxian nodded, then raised her eyebrows. However, I can help Chuxia in the future, but you can't. You're so narrow-minded. Lu Meijun nodded her with her finger, with a helpless expression on her face. I'm not joking with you anymore. Luo Xiaoxian straightened her expression, and looked at Lu Meijun seriously. After I leave, Chu Xia will have to rely on you to take care of me. Chu Xia on the side was hearing black lines all over her head. Why did she feel left alone? But this also shows that this friend Luo Xiaoxian is a real gentleman. It seems that she and Zhou Mikang should hurry up and tell each other about the matter. A person of great promise and friendship. What I hate the most is that others don't respect promises and friendship. If Luo Xiaoxian finds out about this from other sources, it is estimated that she will never forgive her. Although the chance of this other channel is very small, she must not take chances. When the three of them arrived at the cafeteria, there were already not many people in there, and the soldiers in charge of serving the rice didn't make a sound, but the egg custard served to Chu Xia was obviously more than that served to Luo Xiaoxian and Lu Meijun. It caused Luo Xiaoxian and Lu Meijun to protest. She's lost weight, so she doesn't need to make up much. She can't keep up with the progress and is sent back. The face is so dull. You two are her comrades in arms. How can you eat this kind of dry vinegar? The little soldier stared with big eyes, a blushing and thick-necked excuse. After the three sat down, Luo Xiaoxian smiled at Chu Xia. I am more and more relieved. There are still many good people in this world. Besides, you are so attractive. I believe that even if I am not here, you will be able to do it. There is a lot of noise. Chu Xia shook her head. You really read too many martial arts novels. She still has martial arts novels to read. Lu Meijun stretched her head forward. Her voice was extremely low. Where did you get it? This kind of book is quite rare. You don't have to act like this. I don't have any now. They are all in my hometown. At that time, there were a few old educated youths in our village. I made money from them. If you want to see it, I will give it to you when I am eligible to go home and visit relatives. Bring it here. Okay, Okay, Lu Meijun frowned happily. In the entire dining hall, there were a few female soldiers sitting here and there, and Chu Xia's table was particularly eye-catching. Lu Meijun is delicate and delicate, a standard temperament beauty. Luo Xiaoxian, with thick eyebrows and big eyes, is the standard beauty of this era. As for Chu Xia, some people may not admit her beauty because of her age, but everyone must admit that she is really good looking, not only for men, but also for women. When they see her, they want to take another look at her. Although it's only been a few days since I came here to report, due to the combination of exercise and nutrition, her complexion is much rosier than when she first came here, and her fair skin is slightly pink, which is really impressive at first glance. Want to take another look? Therefore, the three of them were sitting here chatting and laughing quietly, while the male soldiers at other tables peeked here from time to time. Cough 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 cough. Xiao Wang, you are shameless, you can use this kind of trick, is it embarrassing? Wang Chuang, it's almost enough, but you're pretending to be pretty good. If I didn't know your character, I really thought you were going to burp. Oh, Wang Chuang, are you serious? Can you pretend it's real? IX. Seeing the male soldiers at the table next to him huddled together, Chu Xia frowned and got up. Luo Xiaoxian grabbed her tightly, it's just joking. What if Xiaobing gets agitated and chokes even more when you pass by? No, Chu Xia patted her hand away, it doesn't work if they shoot down like this, and if you take it out later, you will suffer. As he said, he had already approached. Let me go, let me see. The few people who were in a hurry didn't notice her at all. Chu Xia pulled her twice, but the male soldier who was pulled shook her hand away without looking back. Don't make trouble, Wang Chuang is really choking, when life is at stake, don't make trouble. Who made trouble with you? Chu Xia aimed at his calf and kicked it up. Hey! Taking advantage of the time when the male soldier was jumping in pain, Chu Xia chillio squeezed in. The face of the choked male soldier was already purple, and everyone was helping him to pat him down. Are you trying to kill him? Chu Xia looked at one of the strongest fighters. You, come here, do as I tell you. Female soldier, this is not a time for jokes, what do you want to do? A male soldier who looked older among them stopped the strong male soldier who was moving, and directed the others, pick Wang Chuang up as a medical officer to the room, hurry up. Kaka. Hearing that Wang Chuang's coughing voice had changed, Chu Xia blushed anxiously. At this time, the faster the treatment, the less suffering the patient would suffer. She would not be brave if it was other illnesses, but this matter, she is all too familiar. Her grandma is of course her original grandma. Because she is old, she often chokes when eating. Several members of her family have been ill for a long time, and she is very familiar with handling this matter. Do you want to save him? Chu Xia bit the veteran's arm urgently, forcing him to stop. I'm an adult and have the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. I'm definitely not trying to impress the public by barging in at this time. The veteran wanted to scold her and tell her to get out of the way, but when he touched her firm eyes, trust, inexplicably grew from the bottom of his heart. You guys, go get a doctor. After finishing speaking, he looked at Chu Xia, tell me, let me how to do it. Chu Xia is not wordy, you, stand behind him, hug his waist, make a fist with one hand, place the thumb of the fist on his stomach, and grab the fist with the other hand, push up his stomach with the fastest speed, don't use your hands, and don't use too much force. I tell you to start and you start. Okay, start. He felt that even if the method Chu Xia said was useless, it would not kill people. In line with the principle of treating a dead horse as a living horse, doctor, the veteran squeezed Wang Chuang's abdomen according to what Chu Xia said. Wang Chuang's face was now purple to black, and his face was ferocious. The soldiers watching from the side, unconsciously, all looked dignified. As for Luo Xiaoxian and Lu Meijun, they could only hop outside anxiously, unable to squeeze in at all. Get out of the way, the crowd is so tight, how can you suffocate him to death? In line with the principle that good men don't fight women, all the soldiers retreated. Puff. Cough. 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 Wang Chuang spewed some filth from his throat, and then coughed desperately. A soldier who was close was almost splashed on him, so he quickly backed away in fright, and then poked his head curiously to study. It's peanuts. This bastard almost got stuck in peanuts. Realizing that there were female soldiers at the scene, she rubbed her head and smiled embarrassedly. Huh, the veteran holding Wang Chuang breathed a sigh of relief. You scared me to death. You said that you are worthless. You almost choked to death after eating peanuts. If you say this, you will die of laughter. Dr. Jing is here. Following the shouts, Jing Zhe hurried into the cafeteria. Where is the patient? The soldier who was almost splashed raised his hand. Here. Here. It's coughing to death. Jing Zhe came over in 3 or 2 steps, stared straight at Wang Chuang's face, then turned around and scolded the male soldier who came looking for him. Don't be so frightening in the future, choking and stuffing your throat are completely different. The concept of Dr. Jing, he was really blocked just now, but the veteran smiled sheepishly, pointing to Chu Xia. This comrade guided me to spit out the peanut stuck in Wang Chuang's throat. Jing Zhe was only staring at the patient just now, and didn't even notice that there was an old acquaintance standing beside him. His eyes touched Chu Xia, and his face was surprised. Lin Chuxia, so you are hiding here after class. Chu Xia has a black line. I didn't mean it. Yes, Dr. Jing, she is here to save people. She blames us for delaying her. Otherwise, she would have gone to class long ago. The veteran hurriedly testified for Chu Xia. What method did you use? The veteran of She made me directly became Chu Xia's spokesperson. After his words fell, Jing Zhe looked around, and finally found the small puddle of filth that he had ignored just now. Looking at Chu Xia turned into admiration. Lin Chuxia, that's right, he didn't mess up when he was in danger, he handled it properly, and he has the demeanor of a military doctor. First marriage then love. Mr. Mayor, please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan Nuan. Chapter 114. Thank you teacher for the compliment. Out of politeness, Chu Xia thanked Jing Zhe. When his own student did such an embarrassing thing, Jing Zhe patted Wang Chuang on the back with a smile. You really have to thank Lin Chuxia. If she hadn't saved you in time, I might not be sure. You are going to suffer a great crime. What serious crime? Wang Chuang, who had recovered, shrank his neck unconsciously as he spoke. The crime just now was enough to make him uncomfortable. If it's not stuck in the trachea, it will be effective for them to shoot you down, but the situation just now is clearly a move to aggravate your condition. If the peanuts are shot down a little bit, they have to be cut open before they can be taken out. Also, it's normal that I didn't send you to the infirmary just now. Only you comrades can really drag you to the infirmary while helping you take pictures. You can think about the consequences. Wang Chuang's face turned pale with horror. He stepped in front of Chu Xia, and saluted her. Lin Chuxia, thank you. Thank you, Chu Xia is a must. Your comrades didn't believe her just now, huh? Luo Xiaoxian, who had already squeezed into Chu Xia's side, looked terrified, as if she did everything just now. The veteran apologized to Chu Xia with a look of embarrassment. Comrade Lin, I'm sorry. Then he looked at Jing Zhe with joy. Dr. Jing, congratulations on having such a good assistant. Jing Zhe looked at Chu Xia with a smile. How about it, would you like to be my assistant? Yes, without even thinking about it, Chu Xia immediately agreed. It would be a fool not to seize such a good opportunity. Then she blushed a little again. She just knew some basic medical knowledge. The choking was just a coincidence. As an assistant, she secretly glanced at Jing Zhe. Her small body was straight. What was she afraid of? The other party dared to accept it. What is she afraid to answer? Can't learn it? Who doesn't never start? Chusia. That's great, Luo Xiaoxian smirked and grabbed Chusia's little hand. The joy in her eyebrows seemed to jump out. She didn't say anything later, but Chusia could understand what she wanted to express. With Jingzhe covering her, she can go to 401 with confidence. This good friend is really like an old hen guarding her chickens to her. Teacher, let's go back to the classroom first, Chusia waved at Jingzhe, dragging Luo Xiaoxian and Lu Meijun out of the cafeteria. Lu Meijun tilted her head and looked at the two of them. Sighing, you two, luck is really good. Luo Xiaoxian was not happy, Meijun, Chusia was not lucky. At that time, so many people, who would dare to come forward to help. Teacher Jing also said it just now. If it weren't for Chusia, that Wang Chuang's neck was going to be cut open. I'm not jealous, I'm just envious. Anyway, both of you have good luck. Really, I'm happy for you, but I feel a little uncomfortable. I'm about to be thrown farther and farther away by you. In the future. I don't know if we can get as close as today. As long as you want, we can always be close like this. Chusia laughed again. My assistant is different from Xiaoxian's assistant. I don't know much about medical skills. Whether I can be qualified as Dr. Jing's assistant is still unknown. By the way, Chusia, how do you know how to save people? At this moment, Luo Xiaoxian thought of something serious. I saw it when I was reading a book, and it left a deep impression on me. At that time, when I saw Wang Chuang's appearance, I was anxious. In fact, thinking about it now, I was quite afraid. If it didn't work, I would have hurt him. Lin Chuxia. There was the sound of dong-dong footsteps behind them, and it was Sun Shangmei who caught up. Chusia glanced at her, but said nothing. Lin Chuxia, your performance today really impresses me. Lin Chuxia, you did so beautifully today, you have won the honor of our red flag commune. If you talk about the hunky commune again, believe it or not, I'll beat you. Chusia stopped and stared at her. Everything I do is just for me, understand? No, you are always a member of the hunky commune. Sun Shangmei smiled awkwardly. I really think you have won the face of our hunky commune. Crazy, Chusia glared at her, turned around and walked towards the classroom at a faster pace. Early summer. Okay, stop shouting, and you don't know her that well, so call her Lin Chuxia. Luo Xiaoxian turned her head and pouted at her. You want to be Teacher Jing's assistant as well, right? No, Sun Shangmei waved her hands anxiously, I really didn't mean that. Ghosts believe it. Lu Meijun rolled her eyes at her and quickened her pace. When the three of them ran into the classroom, Sun Shangmei had no choice but to swallow the rest of her words. Not long after, Jingzhe also entered the classroom, glanced around, with a smile on his face and eyes. Our team student Lin Chuxia just did something to bring glory to everyone. After telling the situation at that time, Jingzhe broke it down step by step and told everyone why they did this. At the same time, he also explained the danger of choking foreign objects in the trachea. After all this was finished, it was time for get out of class to end. Hula, a group of female soldiers immediately surrounded his desk. Teacher, I didn't quite understand what I heard just now. Can you explain this movement to me more specifically? In case I encounter such a case in the future, I can do it independently. Listening to Sun Shangmei's loud voice, Luo Xiaoxian curled her lips in disdain. You can really pretend. Okay, leave her alone. Chusia lay lazily on the table. Dogs have dog ways, cats have cat tricks. If people think it's appropriate to do that, you can let them use it. I'll see if her cat trick works or not. Lin Chuxia. Jingzhe's voice came across the wall of people. As Jingzhe's assistant, Chusia had no choice but to get up. Teacher, I'm here. Okay, Lin Chuxia is my assistant. She actually handled this case. If there are students who don't understand, go to her and ask her. From now on, Write down all the questions you ask me on paper and hand them over to Lin Chuxia. After finishing, Jingzhe got up quickly and ran out of the classroom like a rabbit. The group of girls around the table hadn't quite reacted yet, they had already disappeared. Then, everyone turned their heads and looked at Chuxia. Well, you don't matter if you ask me, don't look at me like this, I'm not a delicious honey ribs. Speaking of honey ribs, Zhou Mikang's shadow suddenly appeared in Chuxia's mind. Honey, Xiaomi, how can there be pork ribs in honey sauce? Wrong. That dead man, there are honey sauce ribs, it is bitter melon ribs, okay. She must be out of her mind, or why would she think that dead man looks like honey ribs? That girl is pretty. Really, I have never seen such a beautiful woman when I grow up. What kind of woman? A married woman is called a woman. I use the word woman because I want to expand the scope. No matter whether you are married or not, none of the ones I have seen are as good looking as her. Not only is it good looking, but it also has guts. Xiaoshi was kicked so stupid by her. Really, Xiaoshi, how does it feel to be kicked? Pain. Ha ha ha, you're worthless. That's right, for such a skinny girl, if you kick it, it's almost like a mosquito bite, and it still hurts. Are you shameless? No, it really hurts. At that time, I was so angry that I wanted to fight back, but when I saw it was a girl, I held back and didn't strike. Just blow it up, if you really want to fight back, can you do it? That's right, such a delicate girl, if you can handle it, you're not a man. It looks delicate, but it's unambiguous in its actions. When it's critical, it's no worse than the old men. That's right, Zhu Yiwei's humming temper actually listened to her. Oh, I wasn't there at the time, so I was so blind. Hearing what you said, I really wanted to see what that little female soldier looked like. By the way, what's her name? Lin Chuxia. That's a good name, I remember it. Do you remember what you were going to do? In case someone calls her on the road, won't I know who she is? Oh, you are so promising, I thought you were going to find her. Don't provoke me, stir up my anger, I will really go to her, when the time comes, don't be jealous. Zippering is hard work. Having fun while suffering, everyone chatted in full swing. During the chat, I didn't feel tired or bitter, and my steps became brisk. It's just that the chat was so hilarious that no one noticed that the two of them were chasing after them. What did Lin Chuxia do again? Zhou Mikang frowned and looked at Zhou Hanliang. Little girl, why are you so troublesome? I'll inquire later. Zhou Hanliang was still in the pain of a broken relationship, so naturally he didn't have the need to inquire about information, otherwise, he would have known about Chuxia's rescue in the morning. Usually, he hangs out with the soldiers. He has a good temper, and everyone doesn't carry his back on anything. Therefore, there is nothing about Divisiona that he doesn't know about. He even knows which soldier's family has added a nephew and niece. When he didn't have a girlfriend before, some people even made fun of him and asked him to marry his niece to him and let him wait for her to grow up. If he hadn't been familiar with him to a certain extent, if he hadn't been afraid of him, how could he dare to make such a joke with him? Forget it, it's probably not a bad thing, so there's no need to inquire about it. In fact, Zhou Mikang is just used to asking Zhou Hanliang questions, and it's not that he really doesn't understand his feelings. He regrets it when he says it. Zhou Hanliang's mood, he can now understand, after all, he has experienced that kind of feeling before, so, in this life, he absolutely does not want to experience it again. Choosing Lin Chuxia is the safest option. It is also the most win-win. He firmly believes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan Nuan. Chapter 115. One more. Captain, I'm fine. Zhou Hanliang forced a smile. Although Daodu and I haven't been together for too long, we both feel that the other party is the most suitable for us, and we will stick to it. When did I say something was wrong with you? Zhou Mikang snorted expressionlessly. If such a small matter can knock you down, then I really feel that I have misjudged the person. That's right, the leader's eyes are so vicious, how can he misjudge someone? But, can I understand what you mean by the leader? You won't transfer me away. When did I say I was going to transfer you? You obviously said it. God knows how uneasy he has been living these days. Although he thinks that the leader will not really transfer him away, as long as he thinks of the leader's character of doing what he says, he will be so disturbed that he will die. However, at this time, Zhou Hanliang did not dare to find such a debt, so he quickly confirmed, "Head, what do you mean? Don't blame me for Lin Chuxia's matter." Humph. Although there was no direct answer, the answer was self-evident, and somehow, Zhou Hanliang felt better. Jun Daodu had promised him that no matter what difficulties she encountered, she would never marry him in this life, and the temporary compromise was just for the sake of being better together in the future. He is a man, and he cannot put all the pressure on the woman who loves him. The best way to relieve her pressure is that he is qualified to stand at Yun's house openly and say, he wants to marry her. If he is no longer Zhou Mikang's partner, he can't guarantee whether he can make Yun Daodu wait until the day he is qualified. Now, his heart is finally at ease. Head, you have scared me to death these few days. If you really transfer me away, my marriage with Daodu will probably fail, Zhou Hanliang said happily. You don't want to be transferred, just for this reason. Zhou Mikang glanced at him and snorted coldly. Not promising. Hey. Commander, I'm going to inquire about Lin Chuxia. The voice fell, and Zhou Hanliang's figure had already mixed into the queue of soldiers. Zhou Mikang snorted coldly, but decided in his heart that he must teach this brat a lesson in the future. Between them, it was no longer a simple subordinate relationship, he regarded him as a brother. A brother like a brother. He doubted him so much, brat. After 2 days of training, the basic movements of standing at attention, taking a rest, walking in unison, and saluting, all the team members have been able to fully meet the requirements. In the afternoon, ZenMaleLead began the next training station in military posture. Standing in the military posture is every recruit. The compulsory course when enlisting in the army. The movements are very simple, but it is not an easy task to do well. Separate your feet at 60 degrees, keep them straight, stick your thumbs to the second joints of your index fingers, and let your hands hang down naturally close to the sides of your trousers. Tighten your abdomen, keep your chest up, raise your head, look forward, and spread your shoulders back. After ZenMaleLead finished the demonstration, he shouted for attention. They corrected each other one by one, and when they walked in front of a thin female soldier, looking at the other party's feet that were obviously bent at 180 degrees, he frowned. Zhang Erniu, didn't I say that the feet are separated by 60 degrees? How many degrees are you doing? The little female soldier squeezed her eyes and raised her hand weakly. How much is 60 degrees? Coax. The players burst into laughter immediately. ZenMaleLead also twitched the corner of her mouth. Cut off a third at a right angle. Chop 1/3 off at a right angle. Zhang Erniu's feet swayed back and forth on the ground, but she didn't make a 60-degree angle. ZenMaleLead was defeated by her. You don't know how to look at the people next to you. How are they standing? The little female soldier blushed. You said that you won't let me look aside. Look now. Yes, the little female soldier tilted her head to the side, and quickly put her feet into a figure 8. ZenMaleLead opened her mouth, but finally said nothing. Could it be that she wants to have a math class on the spot? And the problem of the degree of this angle, elementary school students will be fine, How did this second girl get attracted? Standing in a military posture is certainly not difficult for Chusia, but it is only limited to posture. You know, just because she knows how to stand in a military posture, she is more tired than others standing. Others just stand up straight, but she clamps her legs straight, draws her abdomen and raises her buttocks, and her feet grab the ground hard, firmly stuck there. The instructors in college were very strict. Just standing in the military posture, they were full of pain. At the end of the military training, they all made this movement a standard, so that now she has basically formed a conditioned reflex. Without even thinking about it, I just stood there. The problem is, her current body is not comparable to her original body at all, therefore, after an hour, her body began to shake, but the key point, ZenMaleLead has been busy correcting the players' stances during this hour. As for the posture, I didn't pay attention to the difference between her standing and everyone else. I just thought that she did it quite standard, so there was no need to stare at her. Others, I really didn't have any ideas. Logoziokshin next to Chusia was the first to notice something was wrong in Chusia. Her face turned red, beads of sweat kept rolling down her face, and upon closer inspection, her legs were still trembling. This is the day of May. She stood up to now, except that her legs were a little tired, she really didn't feel anything else, and Chusia's body was too weak. But looking at Chusia like this, it seems that she really can't hold on anymore. Report, she couldn't speak during the training, and she was worried about the situation of her good friend, so she shouted the word report without thinking about it. Get out. Logoziokshin put her legs together and ran to the front. Captain Report suddenly thought of everyone's ridicule at Chusia, and thought that she was about to leave, so she couldn't say anything later. ZenMaleLead frowned. What's the matter? With an idea, Logoziokshin hurriedly said, report to the captain, I want to go to the toilet. ZenMaleLead thought she was embarrassed just now, so she waved her hand, go. Yes, gritting her teeth, she glanced worriedly at Chusia. Logoziokshin clutched her stomach and moved to the toilet with a pained expression on her face. ZenMaleLead, who had been staring at her, felt her heart skip a beat, and ran after her a few steps. Logoziokshin, what's wrong? Captain Logoziokshin grinned and said in a low voice, Captain, you are such a good leader. I'm not uncomfortable at all, but Chusia seems to be very uncomfortable. Lin Chuxia, thinking of Chuxia's body and the rejection she received in the team, ZenMaleLead patted Logoziokshin admiringly, good job, okay, you go to the bathroom. Yes. Before Logoziokshin could move, ZenMaleLead hurriedly told her again, continue to move with the movement just now, and if people ask, they will say that their stomach hurts. Yes, the corners of Logoziokshin's mouth twitched, and she began to move to the toilet. ZenMaleLead seemed to be leisurely walking back to the line, and pretended to look at the time, okay, let's rest for a while. Chusia, do you want to go to the toilet? When Lu Meijun stretched out her hand to drag Chusia, she realized that the other party's expression was wrong. She hurriedly called ZenMaleLead, Captain, Captain, come and have a look. ZenMaleLead, who was thinking of a reason to come over, rushed over in a few steps. Seeing Chusia's appearance, she was also startled. Lin Chuxia, what's wrong with you? At this time, most of the team members gathered around, seeing Chusia's appearance with contempt, ridicule, and sympathy, all kinds of expressions. Chusia shook his head weakly, I'm fine, I'm just tired, I'll be fine after a short rest. Lin Chuxia, don't you want to be a soldier with your body? Someone in the team shouted. That's right, I can't stand it anymore after only standing for an hour. After that, what will you do if you have other training? Yes, Captain, the training in the future must be more tiring than now, right? Hearing everyone's gossip, Chusia smiled wryly in her heart. She was really asking for trouble, knowing that her body was not good enough, but what happened was that she had to follow the standards, and what happened was that the others didn't follow the standards. Asking HandsomeMaleLead hasn't said that yet. What is she looking for? But after thinking about it carefully, she felt that she had nothing to regret. When she came to serve as a soldier, she had to pass the physical test sooner or later. It was a little harder at the beginning, but later on, it would be easier. What about other people's jokes? One day, she will make those who laugh at her so annoyed that they want to poke their own eyeballs blind. Are you alright? HandsomeMaleLead was still a little worried. Otherwise, I'll send you to the medical room to have a look. No need. I'll just rest for a while. Really? Josei hurriedly refused, making a joke. She has only been here for 4 days, and she has been hospitalized twice. She has really become a super celebrity. Okay, Lu Mei-jun, help her walk slowly, and I'll get you some water. Yes, Lu Mei-jun replied, supporting Josei to move forward slowly. With this body, can I serve as a soldier? How did you choose it? I'm really curious. I'm also curious. With her body, no matter how relaxed the conditions are, she's not qualified, right? By the way, I heard that she was replaced by others. Now I doubt whether it is Lin Chuxia who was chosen as the rightful owner, and she is the counterfeit. It seems that looking good is taking advantage. She looks good. Didn't realize it. Hearing the mocking sound behind her, Lu Mei-jun glanced at Josei worriedly. They just like to stick their tongues indiscriminately. Josei, you must not take it to heart. I don't take it personally, don't worry. Josei had already felt better at this time, and her complexion had almost returned to normal, so she breathed a sigh of relief. They are right, my physical fitness is indeed not very good. What can I do? In your heart? But after a pause, a charming smile appeared on the corner of her lips. In time, it's really not certain who is strong and who is weak, right? First marriage then love. Mr. Mayor, please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 116. That's right, given time, it's really not certain who is strong and who is weak. Lu Mei-jun repeatedly nodded her head in agreement with Josei, but judging from her expression, she could tell that she didn't take Josei's words seriously. That's right, judging from Josei's performance today, it is really too difficult for people to believe her without knowing the inside story. In fact, it is true that Josei's body is weak, but, after all, she is at a good age, and Zhao Yulan and Lin Baohe will spare her any delicious food, so she is thin, but her body is not so bad. The point. As long as she can keep up with nutrition and training from now on, there will be absolutely no problem to catch up in half a year. However, before that, she will have to get used to enduring others' ridicule. The army is a place that respects the strong. Now, she really has a certain distance from the strong. Well, it's not a certain distance, it's a very long distance. Josei, are you alright? Luo Xiaoxian ran out of the toilet and ran straight to Josei's side. Thanks. Lu Mei-jun looked at Josei in bewilderment, not understanding why she thanked Luo Xiaoxian. Luo Xiaoxian narrowed her eyes with joy. As expected, she is my good sister. What dumb fans are you playing? Lu Mei-jun asked suspiciously. I'm usually pretty smart, why are you so stupid now? Luo Xiaoxian curled her lips. You think I really can't help but go to the bathroom? You are. Lu Mei-jun patted his forehead suddenly. I understand, you just want to lead the captain to catch up, tell her about Josei's situation, and then let the captain announce the rest, right? Luo Xiaoxian gave a thumbs up. Mei-jun, you are actually quite smart. You're smart too. Lu Mei-jun gave her the thumbs up. In that case, you can still think of saving face for Josei. You are really smart enough, smarter than me. Indeed, if she had said that Josei couldn't stand it anymore. No matter what HandsomeMaleLead does, the team members will think that the captain is partial, and at the same time, those who originally looked down on Josei will look down on her even more. Luo Xiaoxian shook her head. It's not that I'm smart, it's because we grew up together, the relationship is there, and you have feelings with us now. But it hasn't reached that level yet. Lu Meijun's expression was a little awkward. Indeed, it wasn't until Zhenmei announced the end that she took Chu Xia's hand and realized that something was wrong with him. Moreover, her first reaction was to call Zhenmei over. He didn't think about the problem of Chu Xia's face. Although Luo Xiaoxian's words were a bit hurtful, they were indeed telling the truth. Lu Meijun is not a narrow-minded girl. Once she figured it out, she immediately nodded and admitted, yes, Xiaoxian is right. I also hope that one day, the relationship between me and you can be the same as the relationship between the two of you. This opportunity is right in front of you. I'm leaving, and you will take over, he said. Luo Xiaoxian sighed again. Today is already the third day, and Dean Su didn't send anyone over. Is it really just talking? That's right, she said at the time that Xiao Miao would come to ask for your opinion in 3 days, but now Lu Meijun frowned worriedly. What if it doesn't work out? Hey! Hearing the two people's deep and shallow sighs, Chu Xia said helplessly, you two, can you stop making yourself look like you are in imminent disaster? Let's not talk about whether Dean Su was delayed because of something, just take a step back and say, what if this thing doesn't work out? We were speaking the truth, and we have a clear conscience. Those who make fun of people are those who are incompetent and willing to be jealous. You let her make jokes, and then train one after another to see if they still have the time to laugh at people. Chu Xia is right, Lu Meijun couldn't help nodding her head in agreement. If we can't go, let's pretend it never happened, and pretend that we don't hear other people's gossip. Besides, the final development of our group of people still depends on individual efforts. Staying in the medical team may not be worse than going to the general hospital. Xiaoxian, don't you think so? So, it seems that I don't need to wait for Xiao Miao to come. Luo Xiaoxian's eyebrows were twisted by the two people's words. If she doesn't come, I can still be with you all the time. If you change places and don't know the place well, I don't even care about it. Beep beep beep. The assembly whistle blew, and the three hurried back. This time, Chu Xia has a long memory, and like others, she doesn't care about her appearance. As far as her current actual situation is concerned, it's better not to worry about whether the standard is not standard. Let's talk about it when her physical fitness really improves, or in other words, it's not too late to stand like this when she adds a small stove herself. After all, that way you can decide for yourself when to rest. After standing for an hour, some people kept aiming at Chu Xia's position. Unfortunately, Chu Xia Tongzi only blushed slightly this time, and he didn't have the embarrassment of the last hour at all. Zhenmei has also been paying attention to her. Seeing her appearance, she also has a puzzled expression on her face. She really doesn't understand why there is such a difference between the last hour and this hour with the same person. And the most important thing is, the last hour's physical strength should definitely be stronger than this hour. Could it be that this Lin Chuxia is an outlier, and the more she stands, the stronger her body becomes? However, since Lin Chuxia is fine, she doesn't need to take a break every hour. It's normal, standing for 2 hours is normal. Even if the requirements of medical soldiers are not as strict as ordinary female soldiers, she can't always relax the policy for them. Glancing quietly at Chu Xia, she was full of doubts. Her family's third cousin, who is high above her, wants to marry this thin little girl. That's right, she admitted that Lin Chuxia looks pretty good, but in her impression, her third brother is not the kind of master who likes any pretty girl, and whoever likes her third brother is prettier than Chuxia. There are too many, and the result is not being trained by his third brother? How is this little girl different from others? Apart from poor physical fitness, a little stubborn temper, and good looks, it seems that I really can't find any other advantages. Oh, no, there is one more thing, that is, don't panic when things happen. She had already heard Jingzhe talk about what happened in the cafeteria in the morning, so even if she was the person in the cafeteria at that time, she might not be as calm as Lin Chuxia. Or, what her third brother, Hui Ruju, likes is that Lin Chuxia doesn't panic when things happen, and doesn't mess around in times of crisis. Thinking about it carefully, it's really possible that her third brother is the master who has fought in battles and performed countless missions, or he values things differently from other men. That's right, everyone in the army knows that danger may come at any time. In case, well, what she said is in case of sacrifice. If the wife is not calm, the family will be destroyed. The third brother is the third brother, it is too long-term to think about the problem. Everyone's movements were relatively standard, and Zheng Tongzi, who had nothing to do, was worrying about her third brother in his mind. It's a pity that her leisure time didn't last long before something went wrong. This time, it was not Lin Chuxia who had the problem, but Rao Shui. That's right, Rao Shui fainted. Just now, Lin Chuxia just had an ugly face, and her body was trembling a little. This one lay down on the ground softly. Captain! Captain! Team leader! The chaotic call pulled ZenMei back from her wild thoughts. She ran over to see Rao Shui's face, and frowned slightly. Looking at it like this, she would not faint. After thinking about it, she pinched Rao Shui's person with her fingers. Did not wake up. What are you doing? Hearing this voice, ZenMei turned her head quickly. Head, why are you here? Come and see your training progress. The team leader's Heise would say that he was a little worried about Chuxia's Heise's health after he led the team back from practice. Would you like to come and have a look? Training progress? ZenMei smiled wryly. It's only been 4 days in total, what progress can be made? Isn't her third brother joking? A thought flashed through her mind, and then she denied herself. Her third brother has always been a person who distinguishes between public and private, so why did he come here on purpose for private matters? And based on her observation, the third brother wanted to marry Lin Chuxia, probably not because he likes what the other person likes. It didn't sound good, but she felt like that was the case. What's wrong with this one? Zhou Mikang walked closer, only to see someone lying in front of ZenMei. Fainted? Yes. Ah. Seeing Rao Shui jumping straight up, all the Nympho team members suddenly came to their senses, and then they were a little surprised. How could this guy jump up by himself while lying down? Zhou Mikang's movements just now were extremely quick, so everyone didn't realize that Rao Shui's jump was his masterpiece. Head, you stepped on my hand. Rao Shui stared pitifully at Zhou Mikang with tears in her eyes. A villain shouted in her heart, fainted, fainted, fainted quickly. It's a pity that she didn't have the guts to shout, and she didn't really faint. With the eyesight of the leader, she must be able to spot it. It is estimated that she stepped on it on purpose just now because she found out that she had a fake faint. That's right, she just saw it from a distance. Zhou Mikang came over and fainted in time. Regarding the Beauties Week protest, the team leader Tongzi didn't hear it at all. He glanced around and looked at ZenMei, the Army's 10th anniversary celebration. Each class has a program, hurry up. After being taken aback for a moment, ZenMei hurriedly said, yes. The establishment of the medical team was organized by Zhou Mikang. Therefore, although he did not personally come forward for everything later, at present, the medical team is affiliated with the group. As for the specific training, Liang Xiangyang and ZenMei are in charge. So, it is normal for Zhou Mikang to inform me about participating in performances and activities like this. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan Nuan. Chapter 117. One more. Lin Chuxia, come out. Chu Xia, who was tired from standing all afternoon, was in a daze at this time, and was suddenly called out, trembling with fright, and hurried outside. but unfortunately, his sore legs were a little out of control, his left foot shook his right foot, and his body was uncontrollable falling forward. Out of instinct, she grabbed Jong Eunhyo's belt, which could be pulled in front of her. The unsuspecting Jong Eunhyo was not much stronger than Chu Xia. When she was pulled by Chu Xia, she fell backward uncontrollably. Then, before everyone could react, the two of them had already slammed onto the ground. Poor Chuxia Tongza was the first to land. After recovering, Luo Xiaoqing and Lu Meijun hurried to pull them together. Ah! Yo! Tragedy happened again. Jong Eunhyo's belt buckle was torn loose by Chu Xia. Luo Xiaoqing and Lu Meijun pulled her up, and the pants slid down uncontrollably. Out of instinct, Jong Eunhyo struggled desperately to get away, and the two fell back and smashed heavily on Chu Xia. Do not move. Seeing that Luo Xiaoqing and Lu Meijun were about to tear her up again, Jong Eunhyo yelled, "It's okay to fight," to pull up her pants. She was wearing long johns in the season, so she wouldn't really go away. Seeing Jong Eunhyo's embarrassment, no matter how anxious they were, Lu Meijun and Luo Xiaoqing couldn't bother her anymore, so they could only wait for her to pull up her trousers and tie her belt in embarrassment. At this time, the other team members spread word of mouth that they already knew what happened afterwards. For a while, there was constant cheating laughter in the team. The eyes of some team members are shining brightly. It's too good to be ugly. It happened to let Captain Joe take a look. Lin Chuxia, who was favored by the captain, was simply an idiot. Let's see how the captain will favor her in the future. It would be best if Captain Joe got angry and drove Lin Chuxia back to his hometown. Especially those in the third class who had a bad temper with Chu Xia. The villain in his heart immediately cheered. It was so relieved. It's really exhausting. Ah ha ha ha. Chu Xia, who was pulled up by Luo Xiaoqing and Lu Meijun, had her face burnt into the shape of a shrimp and her head drooping. Move to the front of the team step by step. Stand still and salute. Report to the leader. Lin Chuxia is here. Zhou Mikang's face had turned blue-black, and he frowned and looked at Chu Xia a few times. Do you know that I'm going to praise you, so you can't find Bei happily? Ah, Chu Xia looked at him blankly. Look puzzled. Ah, what? You saved Wang Chuang in the cafeteria this morning, and you wanted to praise you for not messing around in times of danger. Let everyone learn from you, but you gave me such a thing. It seems that you really can't boast. Who asked you to boast? Chu Xia curled her lips secretly, but her face was extremely respectful. Report to the leader. I will work hard. Zhenmei, who was standing aside, had black lines on her hair. My third brother was clearly trying to explain Lin Chuxia, but with such a face and tone, I believe he is now worried about whether Lin Chuxia was injured just now, right? Well, it's hard for the third brother. What can he do in this kind of situation? If she really showed a little concern, Lin Chuxia wouldn't be able to stay in the medical team any longer. She knew how powerful a girl's jealousy was. Forget it, let her come forward. She even doubts now. The fact that she was in charge of the training of the medical team was deliberately arranged by the third brother. Lin Chuxia, is there any injury? Zhenmei asked. No. Chu Xia shook her head, but her heart was terribly bitter. The injury was not hurt, but she was definitely not feeling well. She was hit hard twice, and her hips are in pain now. Zhenmei glanced at her third brother quietly, hesitated for a moment, and looked at Chu Xia. Let's go back to the team. Yes. When Chu Xia returned to the queue, Zhenmei continued, this is the end of today's training. Everyone will go back and use the class as a unit to choose the program to participate in. Yes. Lin Chuxia, Jong Eunhyo, you two go with me to the medical room to check if there is any injury. Everyone else, disband. Zhou Mikang glanced at Zhenmei, then turned and walked outside the playground. Zhenmei breathed a sigh of relief. She finally guessed the holy will correctly. Lin Chuxia, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you, I. On the way, Jong Ernio apologized to Chuxia with a look of embarrassment. I'm the one who's sorry. Chuxia also had an unnatural expression on his face. I was in a hurry at the time, so I didn't think much about it. I'm really sorry for embarrassing you. It's okay, I'm still wearing long johns. Jong Ernio smiled sincerely. Lin Chuxia, let's work hard together in the future. It is good. The corners of Zenmei's eyes twitched as she was walking in front. She dared to love these two, but she felt sorry for each other. Jingzhe, who was putting the good news equipment into the disinfection cabinet, heard footsteps behind him, turned around and found that it was Zhou Mikang, and smiled. Teacher Zhou, what brought you here? Shunfeng, Zhou Mikang sat down at Jingzhe's desk after finishing speaking. I heard that you asked Lin Chuxia to be your assistant. Yeah, I'm planning to say hello to you about this. During the recruiting period, let her attend class in the morning and train in the afternoon. After the recruiting period, let her practice with me. This is a good seedling, cultivate well, maybe can take the lead, Jingzhe said and sat opposite Zhou Mikang. You haven't seen her in the morning when she dealt with emergency medical matters. She really doesn't look like a young female soldier who just joined the army. She is calm and pondered for a while, then said, it seems a bit exaggerated to describe her as ruthless, but I really can't think of other words. Anyway, she is a seedling of a good doctor. She is not very old, and she is good at culture classes. Commander Zhou, I am now asking you for someone in a fair manner. I want to transfer her relationship to the General Hospital directly after the recruit training is over. First follow me to exercise for a year, and then send her to medical school for further study. As for her future development, it depends on her own, and I will not interfere. No. Why? Jingzhe looked at Zhou Mikang with a puzzled expression. I cherish talents, and I think my arrangement is very suitable for her. Why don't you agree? No reason, just disagree. Zhou Mikang glanced out and stopped talking. Jingzhe followed his line of sight and saw Zenmei bringing Lin Chuxia and a little female soldier over. What's going on? He looked at Zhou Mikang wonderingly. I said, you wouldn't be. Are you interested in Lin Chuxia? Are you here just to wait for her? Well, let me tell you, if you are really interested in her, then you can't hinder her future. No, how old are you? How big? Shut up. Zhou Mikang stared at Jingzhe with a dark face. If you talk too much, I'll throw you out. Jingzhe curled his lips. Are you afraid that they will come in and hear it? Seeing that the other party really showed signs of throwing him out, Jingzhe quickly got up and walked out. Mei Li, what happened to these two? It's nothing, I'll check it out for them. Zenmei stopped abruptly, staring at Zhou Mikang, who was sitting firmly in the office with disbelief, saying that she clearly watched her third brother go to the office. Why don't you go check it out soon? Zhou Mikang glared at her. If you just dawdle like this, if the two of them really have internal injuries, 9 lives might not be enough to die. Yes, Zenmei shrank her neck and quickly rushed into the examination room next to her. Chu Xia also rushed in at a faster pace. Zhang Ernia was unprepared and was left alone at the end. She thought she should say hello to the head of the team, but she didn't say hello to the first two, and she felt that she didn't need to say hello. Then, she felt weak when she didn't say hello. As a result, she almost moved into the examination room along the corner. Jingzhe, who was standing at the door, looked amused, turned around and shook his head at Zhou Mikang. Look at you, you scare the little girl, you won't even go on the road. Humph. Zhou Mikang stood up. I solemnly warn you, don't make Lin Chuxia's idea. I have my own arrangements for her work. Wait. Jingzhe quickly closed the door, plugged it in, and pushed Zhou Mikang back to sit down. You mean, you really fell in love with Lin Chuxia? I said, are you serious or just kidding? What? At such a young age, you can't hurt her. You think I'm joking? Zhou Mikang glanced at him. You'd better take care of yourself, don't worry about my business. Jing Zhe pointed at his face, with a funny face on his face. I didn't have any ideas about a girl 10 years younger than me, so what can I do? But Laozhou, seriously, do you like Lin Chuxia? What's the matter with you? I don't want you to ruin a good seedling, she is my favorite, Jing Zhe said straightforwardly. Say it again. Say it again, say it again. Jing Zhe stared straight at him. Lin Chuxia is my favorite, I will never allow you to ruin her. Zhou Mikang leaned forward violently, and grabbed Jing Zhe's collar. It seems that your skin is itchy. You beat me to death, that's what I said too. What I like about her is her talent, how about you? Jing Zhe still showed no sign of weakness. What exactly do you like about her? Zhou Mikang, don't tell me you fell in love with her. If you say that, you can lie to a 3-year-old, you can lie to me, you. Zhou Mikang frowned, are you out of your mind? You have a brain problem. A little female soldier has only been here for 4 days, and you want to circle her up like a canary. Zhou Mikang, I despise you. I despise you. The latter words were thrown back by Zhou Mikang with a fist. Puff. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, Jing Zhe sneered, are you angry from embarrassment after being hit by what I said? Unreasonable, Zhou Mikang turned and walked out angrily. Jing Zhe leaned leisurely on the table, smiling brightly. Zhou Mikang, as I said, she is my favorite talent, and anyone who wants to play her against her will not do it. P.S. Recommend a friend Wenwen. Book title, Rebirth of a Famous Qinjin. Book number, 275-1015. Author, Wei Ye. Introduction. In a word, Rebirth of a Qinjin meets a feudal husband from ancient times. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 118. It's the second watch, and it's the end of the month. Beggars, spread the tickets in your hands. Zhou Mikang stopped in his footsteps, turned his head, and looked at Jing Zhe carefully. After a long while, a smiley expression appeared on the corner of his lips. You actually have the face to criticize me. Put away your dirty thoughts. Jing Zhe stared at him with displeasure. I have pure admiration for Lin Chuxia. Hard work, aggressiveness, boldness, and carefulness are all necessary to be a good doctor. Conditions, but it is not easy for these qualities to appear in one person at the same time. Judging from her physique, her family background is not very good. Such a girl must hope that through her own efforts, her family will be honored by herself. Such a promising girl, I will not let her be buried. Zhou Mikang looked at him leisurely. Why do you say that she will be buried if she marries me? Marry? Jing Zhe stared blankly at Zhou Mikang, and then said, you mean, you want to marry Lin Chuxia? That's right, Zhou Mikang nodded. Why, depending on what you mean, I still need to ask for your opinion when I marry her. Jing Zhe frowned. You don't let her be my assistant, does that mean you won't let her work after marrying her? This is my business. This is none of your business, you have no right to decide her life. Jing Zhe shook his head in disappointment. In the past, I only thought you were a bit domineering, but at critical times, you can still listen to other people's opinions. Now, I withdraw this idea. You are not only domineering, but also extremely selfish. She is only barely 18 years old, the age of a flower, which is the golden age for studying hard and working hard, but you want to marry her home. When the canaries are raised. You must feel that. Her family is from the countryside, and her family background is not good. You can see her, which is considered a blessing she has cultivated in several lifetimes. Fortunately, you are still a party member. Unexpectedly, your thoughts are so dirty. Zhou Mikang stared at him for a long time. Cai said, is it finished? Jing Zhe nodded, almost, I can't think of anything else. After you finish speaking, it's my turn to speak. Joe Mikang stepped forward, wrapped his arms around his neck, and forced him to look directly at him. Take your conscience and tell me that you only admire Lin Chuxia purely because you cherish talents. I, Jingjie, admire Lin Chuxia purely. It's because I cherish talents. Without even thinking about it, Jingjie repeated Joe Mikang's words solemnly. Joe Mikang let go of his hand. Okay. Remember what you said. Otherwise, you really make me look down on you. Wait, Jingjie looked at him tangled. What do you mean? Do you agree with her to be my assistant? Also agree with the conditions I created for her? Joe Mikang snorted coldly. That's your idea. You. Jingjie stared at him speechlessly. Then what did you mean by what you just said? Are you really stupid or fake? Joe Mikang frowned. I don't let her be your assistant for your own good. Do you think that she can still follow your arrangement after she married me? Develop this. Jingjie got stuck. Really, how could he forget? Where is Joe Mikang's mother and sister-in-law? As far as those two women are concerned, Joe Mikang's wife will never be allowed to work and study without having children. But he was so entangled in his heart that he was dying. He finally found a real talent, but he was about to become a housewife around the pot. Is the wife sad? I will seek Lin Chuxia's opinion. If she is willing, I will fight for her. However, you have to remember your own promise. The woman Joe Mikang likes can only be my wife, understand? Can this man be more domineering? Ah! Can you be more domineering? This is clearly a threat to him. If he dares to have any thoughts about Lin Chuxia, don't blame him for being rude. By the way, he is not married yet. He just saw the horoscope from him. Why is he so arrogant? Alas, he suddenly felt sorry for Uncle Joe. With such a son, how did Uncle Joe live all these years? The Joe family and the Jing family are family friends, and Jingjie is very aware of the conflict between Joe Mikang and Joe's father, so that's why he feels this emotion. Jingjie was still here sighing with emotion. The head of Joe had already pushed open the door and walked away with long legs. Why is he here? Is it just to warn him? Originally, Jingjie guessed that the group leaders Heisa came here to wait for Lin Chuxia, but the current performance fully shows that the group leaders Heisa came for him. In other words, the group leaders Heisa felt threatened by him. Ahaha, this kid who has been a stinking fart since he was a child, is actually scared? Could it be that this time he really fell in love with Lin Chuxia seriously? Did you really let go of Dai Rao's matter? Impossible. Jingjie's brows were frowned into a pimple. He targeted Joe Mikang just now because he felt that if Joe Mikang really loved Lin Chuxia, he should marry him. He really doesn't have the right to make irresponsible remarks. But the problem is that he is very clear about the relationship between Joe Mikang and Yamiru back then. Joe Mikang was able to become the head of the regiment at the age of 27, not because he was protected by his family, but because he was with him. After Yamiru's relationship failed, he put all his energy into his career. Everything he did today was all because of his life. He looks domineering and ruthless, but in fact, he is the most affectionate. It's like he has the best relationship with Josei. He knows that Uncle Joe has no choice but to do that, but he can't forgive Uncle Joe no matter what. He believed that Joe Mikang's treatment of Yamiru should be the same. Although he was betrayed by the other party, it was difficult for him to open his mind to accept other girls. Aunt Lin and her own mother are best friends, and every time she goes to his house to complain, it is Joe Mikang who rejects So and So's daughters, and the conditions of those girls are not bad. Therefore, he would not believe at all that Joe Mikang would have real feelings for a little girl who only saw two sides, and the real reason for marrying Lin Chuxia was probably because he felt that marrying such a wife would not be bound by the other party's family, and can compensate the other party for what the other party needs most. In this way, if you can't give her love, you will have no regrets. Or if he meddles in his own business, maybe Lin Chuxia will feel that such a marriage is a win-win happiness. But, for some reason, he just felt uncomfortable. He couldn't see such a talented girl being reduced to a housewife who revolved around her husband and children. The situation where Lin Chuxia was dealing with an emergency in the cafeteria today made him conclude that as long as she is properly cultivated, she will definitely become a dazzling pearl in time. The door was pushed open, and ZenMaleLead walked in. Seeing Jingjie staring at her without saying a word for a while, she asked suspiciously, "Dr. Jing, why are you pretending to be serious?" "Jingjie." ZenMaleLead stepped forward, shaking her hand in front of his eyes. "Hello." "Ah," Jingjie shuddered and came back to his senses. "Is the inspection over?" "Well, why are you in a daze?" ZenMaleLead poked him with a smile. "Did you fall in love with a girl? Tell me who it is, see if I know you, or maybe I can help you. Your third brother is going to marry Lin Chuxia, do you know?" "Why, you also know?" ZenMaleLead's eyes widened in surprise. "My third brother told you?" "Yes. I want to arrange for Lin Chuxia to be my assistant." Jingjie repeated to ZenMaleLead what he had just said to Zhou Mikang, and finally said, "This is how things are. I really can't get over my heart now. I finally found a good seedling, just ruined it like this. ZenMaleLead interrupted him. "Are you sure? You are only uncomfortable because of the reason you said." "You." Jingjie shook his head. "Forget it, you are brothers and sisters, of course you are facing him. It's my brain twitch. Why would I discuss this issue with you? Forget it, I'd better talk to Lin Chuxia in person. She is gone back." Going back? ZenMaleLead looked him up and down. "Honestly, I advise you to think clearly about your own thoughts. My third brother just said that Lin Chuxia should not follow the path you arranged. Tell her not to work. As far as I know, when Lin Chuxia agreed to marry my third brother, she made 3 demands, one of which was that my third brother must allow her to continue working, otherwise, she would not marry. Don't look at Lin Chuxia skinny and weak. When she was stubborn for a while, my third brother probably couldn't do anything about her. Anyway, my third brother agreed to her request. Do you think my third brother doesn't count his words?" Jingjie had an unbelievable expression on his face. "What you said is true." "Of course," ZenMaleLead nodded seriously. "We grew up together anyway, and I had a crush on you once, so, tell me, will I joke with you about this?" "It's because you had a crush on me that I don't want to tell you." Seeing that ZenMaleLead's face changed, Jingjie hurriedly said, Okay, I'm joking. Of course I believe you won't take such a thing fool me. In fact, I just can't understand what your third brother is thinking, and I am a little entangled." "Jingjie, you like Lin Chuxia?" ZenMaleLead stared at him seriously. "You said just now that you just don't want Lin Chuxia to be buried like this, but now that you know that my third brother won't bury her, you said you want to figure it out. What does my third brother think? In fact, you are just making excuses for yourself. You brothers and sisters." Jingjie was speechless. "Why are you all so self-righteous? Don't I know if I like Lin Chuxia? First marriage then love. Mr. Mayor, please be kind." Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 119. As soon as it arrives, it's the end of the month. Dear friends, the watch is too conservative. Jingjie, is it true that our brothers and sisters are self-righteous? It's too early to make a conclusion. Right now, it's more important for you to straighten yourself out. ZenMaleLead raised her hand and patted Jingjie's shoulder, sighed, and left the office. "You." Jingjie shook his head amusedly. "You two are talking about each other, it's really." As he spoke, he suddenly stopped. Neither Zhou Mikang nor ZenMaleLead had a personality that liked to make trouble out of nothing. Since they said this, it meant that his actions really gave them this feeling. However, in all honesty, he really admired Lin Chuxia. As the chief doctor of the General Hospital of the military region, he would be sent to different training bases for a period of time every year, and the recruits he encountered could be described as varied. Hard work may not be a problem for many recruits. But if you are not arrogant or impetuous, it is really scarce. After teaching the team members a few lessons, he found that Lin Chuxia never raised his hand when others could answer simple questions. She would only raise her hand when she encountered a jerky problem that no one else knew how to do. She did all this very naturally. He believed that the team members didn't even know the difference between the questions they answered and the questions Lin Chuxia answered. He checked Lin Chuxia's file, but he just finished his first year of high school. For this reason, he deliberately asked some questions in class that were beyond what she had learned, and in the end, she gave him perfect answers. Why did this happen? He hasn't had a chance to ask her yet, but he really appreciates her kindness. How many children of this age, especially those who are soldiers, can do what she does? Like her performance this morning, even though she said it was just the method she saw in the book. But from her performance at that time, he could conclude that things were definitely not as simple as she said, and her character should not be so reckless. She was able to do that at that time, which showed that she was confident that she would succeed. One grew up in the countryside. The little girl who has been to the most county town has too many main mysteries. He admitted that he was attracted by those mysteries and wanted to know her better, but most importantly, he didn't want her talent to be buried. Right. This is his truest thought. Moreover, he feels that Lin Chuxia has the right to decide her own life, or she is too young to know what is best for her. No, he couldn't just watch her ruin himself like this. Think here. Jingzhe couldn't sit still anymore. He hurried out of the office and walked towards the girls' dormitory area. Halfway there, he suddenly stopped. Wouldn't it be more misleading for him to go to her like this? I believe that if he really went to find her, not only Zhou Mikang and Zheng Meili, but all the team members would misunderstand what he thought about Lin Chuxia. Why is it so difficult to do something? By the way, the relationship between my mother and Aunt Lin is so good, or it should be useful to listen to my mother's thoughts on this matter. After each squad returned to the dormitory, led by the squad leader, they began to busy preparing for the program for the 10th anniversary of the military region. When Chu Xiao returned to the dormitory, everyone was arguing into a group. This is a group activity, why not let us participate? Who said you won't be allowed to participate? The question is, do you have the talent to show it? The head of the group and the captain didn't say anything. You must be talented. Everyone can read the recitation, right? 10 people can participate, right? Ha, aren't you too ridiculous? You went up to read aloud on the 10th anniversary of the military region. In that case, do we need a meeting to study it? Is this research? When you first came up, you delineated the people who performed the show. You are simply a fascist. You are the fascist. That's all right, stop arguing, you two. Now it's the opening meeting for research, and I didn't say it will be settled immediately. You two are arguing like this, how can you study it? Xiao Ning'ai turned her head, saw Chu Xia, and rushed to her. He beckoned, Lin Chuxia, come here and help out with ideas. Cut. Just her. Yuan Mengmeng, who was in a hurry with Sun Shangmei just now, curled his lips in disdain. Squad leader, you asked her to help you with ideas, because you think our class is not embarrassing enough, right? Yuan Mengmeng, they are all comrades in arms. Can you explain that you can stop being so ugly? Xiao Ning'ai pulled her face down. In the whole class, you are the one who has the most things. When can you deny that there must be more? Yuan Mengmeng looked disconvinced. Squad leader, you have wronged me. I am a straight-minded person, and what I tell is the truth. The truth is easy to say, but doesn't it seem that I have too much to do? Okay, you don't have to say a few words. Yang Xiaoli pulled Yuan Mengmeng and looked at Xiao Ning'ai, but monitor, I think what Mengmeng said makes sense. This time the 10th anniversary celebration, The chiefs attach great importance to it. I heard that the commanders will participate, and all squads are now trying their best to show their faces in the celebration performance. If we take care of the emotions of all class members and report a program with no technical content, then we are putting the cart before the horse. What's the technical content? Xiaoning I stared at her lightly. It's what you and Meng Meng said just now. You play the piano, she sings, and Qi Jihong dances. There are not only 3 people in the 3rd class, how can you be sure that other people's programs are not as good as yours? Moreover, how can you be sure that the programs that the group participates in must be the most common? Okay, I'm talking too much. Yang Xiaoli smiled slightly. Squad leader, you continue the meeting. I will follow your arrangement. I believe that under your leadership, Class 3 will be a blockbuster. Puff. Being stared at coldly by Xiaoning I, Yuan Mengmeng quickly covered his mouth, but he didn't forget to whisper, as long as you don't use the squib to surprise you, thank God. If Xiaoning I looked at her firmly, the 3rd class loses face, and you lose face, don't forget, you are also a member of the 3rd class. Don't tell me what you are doing now is not wanting the 3rd class to lose face. If that's really the case, you won't be provocative in everything. And you? Xiaoning I turned to look at Yang Xiaoli. Do you think it's unfair to be the vice monitor? So you are expecting me to make a mistake every day? If you really feel that being the vice squad leader is inferior, you can prove it to everyone with your own strength in half a month, but now that you are sitting in the seat of the vice squad leader, then you must honestly fulfill the duties of the vice squad leader. Duty. The deputy squad leader is to assist the squad leader in his work, not to form a small group to make trouble for the squad leader. Don't you find it disgusting to pretend to be indifferent and detached all day long? If you are really detached and calm, you won't be overwhelmed by a bad squad leader. Meeting me is like meeting your enemy for 8 lifetimes. You are the most humming disgusting person who wants to be a bitch and also wants to set up a memorial archway. My mother, I am really fed up. If you don't accept it, you can go to the captain to complain now. Eyes wide open, mouth open in various ways, silent, continue to be silent. Was it the monitor who had always been calm and good-tempered who went crazy just now? If it's really the squad leader, isn't he possessed by something? Yang Xiaoli, who was being scolded, her face turned blue and red, and her complexion changed like a palette for a while, but she smiled at Xiaoning I, Squad leader Jiao, if you are not satisfied with me, why did you tell me earlier? Has anger accumulated to this extent? Xiaoning I burst into a bright smile in an instant. It doesn't matter who the monitor of class 3 will be in half a month, but now, it's me, Xiaoning I. If anyone dares to deliberately take the honor of class 3 seriously, don't blame me for taking her. Don't take it seriously. Everyone also came to their senses at this time, their facial expressions were all twitching. No one thought that the real character of the squad leader Tongzi turned out to be like this. Yang Xiaoli was convinced, and Yuan Mengmeng naturally did not dare to commit crimes against the wind. Although she looked dissatisfied, she did not say a word. Lin Chuxia, just now, everyone has already expressed their opinions, and you are the only one left. Tell me what you think. The target suddenly turned to him, and Chu Xia was caught off guard, so he smiled mischievously. Squad leader, for the time being, I don't have any good ideas. A trace of disappointment flashed across Xiaoning I's eyes. She specifically asked for Chu Xia's opinion because she felt that she was very unique in her views on many things. After receiving a bunch of useless answers, she really hoped that she could get a little constructive advice. Chu Xia has a good impression of Xiaoning I, especially after she got angry today. She has a little more appreciation for her, and of course she hopes to help her, but she comes from that era. There are a lot of programs, but it is not suitable for this era. Pop songs, does she dare to let everyone sing? For dancing, there is simply no time to prepare in a few days. Musical instruments are even more unreliable things. As for crosstalk skits, she can't think of any that are suitable for this era. As for poetry recitation, does she need to mention it? No way, the class will continue. With Jiaoning Ai's rage just now, Yuan Mengmeng no longer dared to choke like before. Since then, the atmosphere in the following time has become a rare harmony. While everyone was discussing in a mess, Luo Xiaoxian reported the details of the previous meeting to Chu Xia. Yuan Mengmeng thought about the three of them performing in a small group, Sun Shangmei thought about group reading, Lu Meijun proposed a live drama, Lin Mengran and Chu Xiaojing suggested a session of martial arts, but Jiaoning Ai didn't comment. Lu Meijun lowered her voice, squad leader Chiao should have special skills, so he probably isn't suitable for group performances. How about this, the class meeting will be here for a while, and everyone will go out separately to find out what the programs of each class are. Use this time, and everyone will think about it. I hope that everyone will be able to play by then. Didn't think having a particularly good idea, Jiaoning Ai announced a temporary adjournment. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 120. The second watch arrives. This chapter is a small conspiracy, and it will be revealed in the next chapter. As for the intention, dear friends will soon understand. Squad leader, the performance of the first class is poetry recitation. Squad leader, the second class is going to perform a model play, but which one has not been decided yet. Squad leader, class 4 is performing an erhu solo. Squad leader, class 5 is performing the chorus Dongfang Hong. Squad leader, class 6 is performing a group dance. Squad leader, class 7's performance is also a group recitation. Squad leader, class 8 is performing a chorus, and the repertoire is to be determined. Squad leader, class 9 is performing single-man martial arts. Squad leader, class 10 hasn't decided what to perform yet, and it seems they are also looking for news from each class. Half an hour later, everyone found out the situation of other classes. The tentative programs of each class were similar to what everyone had proposed before. However, as far as this era is concerned, it seems that these things are what everyone knows. After pondering for a while, Jiaoning Ai made the decision, how about this, our class will also have a chorus, but I will play the accordion solo for everyone. As for the repertoire, everyone will report what they are good at. In the end, we will choose a meeting the tracks with the largest number of people, so that the quality can be guaranteed. Yuan Mengmeng curled his lips, squad leader, Deputy Yang's accordion is pretty good, why are you not democratic at this time? Mengmeng, Yang Xiaoli yelled, and looked at Jiaoning Ai apologetically, squad leader, don't listen to Mengmeng, my accordion is definitely not as good as yours. Jiaoning Ai glanced at her lightly, I'm sorry, I didn't think carefully just now, how about this, you play the accordion, and I will be the conductor. Now everyone is starting to report the repertoire. Write it down on paper and hand it to me. Yes, Yang Xiaoli responded, and said again, let me do the statistical task. What the monitor said is that as the deputy monitor, I am indeed too dereliction of duty. Okay, Jiaoning Ai stared straight at her, I believe you can tell the difference between right and wrong. Squad leader Yang Xiaoli sighed helplessly. Your prejudice against me seems to be too deep, forget it, don't say more, I believe, you will see my sincerity. Do you believe her? Luo Xiaoxian whispered in Chu Xia's ear. It's too fake. It's really too fake. You said that a person's personality will undergo such a big change? Anyway, I don't believe it. Chu Xia gave her a warning. She would rather offend a gentleman than a villain. Now she is not completely sure whether Yang Xiaoli is a villain, but when she doesn't have enough ability to protect herself, she doesn't want to cause trouble. The two have been together for so long, and there is still a basic tacit understanding. Luo Xiaoxian also fell silent immediately. The statistics are finally out. Everyone can sing, Dongfang Hong. We decided after inquiring about it. Therefore, we must not be the same as other classes, so how about it, Chiao Ning I sighed, come back from shooting instead. Only Sun Shangmei can know this song. Yang Xiaoli, you are in charge of teaching it she. It is good. Why should she teach me? Yang Xiaoli and Sun Shangmei said almost at the same time. Just because you can't. Jiao Ning I glanced at Sun Shangmei lightly, this is the only choice. If you don't learn to sing well, you will quit the show. Why? Can you change the word? Jiao Ning I frowned, I told you, it's because you don't know how to speak. You bully, Sun Shangmei said with her neck flushed. What do you think? Jiao Ning I said and stood up, the class meeting is here, everyone can go to dinner, I will ask the captain to borrow the accordion, and rehearsal will start after dinner. You two go to eat together, Sun Shangmei and I are together, Yang Xiaoli said as she walked up to Sun Shangmei, let's go to eat together, and I will teach you as soon as it's over. Sun Shangmei looked at her with a cold face, then turned and walked towards Luo Xiaoxian, you teach me, will you? Ah, Luo Xiaoxian, who didn't understand the situation, was a little taken aback. As long as you can learn it, it doesn't matter whoever teaches you if you don't lose face to class 3. Yang Xiaoli smiled at Luo Xiaoxian, then turned to chase Yuan Mengmeng and Qi Jihong who had already left the dormitory. Luo Xiaoxian blinked at Sun Shangmei, are you really going to let me teach you? What do you think? Sun Shangmei glared at her, we are all from the Hunky commune, and you have the best opportunity among those from the Hunky commune. Shouldn't you help the fellow villagers? Okay, I'll teach. Luo Xiaoxian sighed helplessly, Sun Shangmei, is the position of Hunky commune in your heart so important? That is, I was born and raised on the land of Hunky commune, that land. Chu Xia and Lu Meijun glanced at Luo Xiaoxian sympathetically, and quickly slipped out of the dormitory. Wait for me, no matter what happened, Luo Xiaoxian picked up the lunchbox and ran out. You don't love your hometown too much, Sun Shangmei stomped her feet angrily, I'll argue with you again later. After catching up with Chu Xia and Lu Meijun, Luo Xiaoxian sneezed, Sun Shangmei must have scolded me. You two are too disrespectful. How could you leave me and run away? Chu Xia glared at her, you still have the nerve to say it, knowing Sun Shangmei's high-profile problem, you still insist on hitting the gun, so we won't accompany you to suffer. I'm just curious, I just can't tell whether she is singing high-profile, or she really loves Hunky commune so much. Isn't this just trying to figure it out, hey? I guess even she can't figure it out, but you still want to figure it out, Lu Meijun hugged her, you should stop thinking about such insignificant questions, and think about it now, how to teach her to sing. Return from targeting, as far as I occasionally heard her humming, I can tell you with certainty that she has a standard tone deficient and straight accent, haha, congratulations, you have received a difficult task. Isn't it? Luo Xiaoxian's eyes widened, with a look of wanting to die, don't scare me, I'm pretty hungry, but if you scare me, why would I lose my appetite at all? As expected by Lu Meijun, after the class started that night, Luo Xiaoxian really knelt down and arrived at Sun Shangmei's place in a very simple tone. It's really hard to reach the blue sky. Without any choice. She asked Sun Shangmei to sing Dongfang Hong, her best song. In the end, she found sadly that the so-called best at it is that none of the sentences are on the tune. Why don't you stop singing and just lip-sync when the time comes? No way, Luo Xiaoxian suggested. No, I am a soldier, and I am determined not to cheat. Luo Xiaoxian, I want to die. In the next few days, all classes fell into an unprecedented period of excitement. There is no girl of this age who does not like to be lively, especially such a large-scale performance, put it aside. This is simply something that no one dares to think about. Therefore, even if you are dizzy in class every morning, and practice like a dead dog in the afternoon, but at night, everyone immediately returns to life and vitality. Of course, except for early summer, because when the anniversary is celebrated, there will be a big military parade, including their group of recruits. So, training missions these days. Much heavier than the previous few days. She has no problem with the standard of movement, but she really can't bear it if she really suffers like this every day. Fortunately, if you can't bear it, you can't bear it, but you won't faint. The atmosphere in Class 3 these days has been unprecedentedly harmonious. Yang Xiaoli, who was in charge of playing the accordion, was very happy, and Yuan Mengmeng was also very happy. When she was happy, she stopped finding faults with everyone. Without her finding faults, the atmosphere in Class 3 was naturally harmonious. Of course, except for Sun Shangmei, who has been running wildly on the avenue that is out of tune, she is not happy not to let her participate, but after studying these days, she has not improved at all. It's really amazing to be able to outtune to this level. That night, everyone was rehearsing again. Finally, Qiaoning I couldn't bear it anymore and made a stop gesture. Sun Shangmei, you are a member of the 3rd class, right? The squad leader wants to kick me out of the choir, Sun Shangmei responded quickly. I don't want to do this, but you don't have a single song that you are good at? I beg you, give the members of Class 3 a way out. Don't make a sound, okay? You are insulting people, Sun Shangmei was angry. Qiaoning I looked helpless. People, being too competitive is actually a sign of inferiority. Sun Shangmei, this is your shortcoming, you have to learn to accept it. Nothing is unachievable. Yes, you are right, but there is not enough time now, Qiaoning I sighed. Sun Shangmei, if you want to go on stage, there are plenty of opportunities. In addition to the anniversary, there will be performances on New Year's Day and Spring Festival. If you come from work hard now, I believe that by then, you will be able to stand on the stage confidently. I'm a member of the 3rd class, so I must participate. Sun Shangmei really screwed up. You can participate, I just ask you not to speak up. That's deception, Sun Shangmei snorted coldly. Other classes can recite, why can't our class? Aren't you trying to show off your city soldier's ability? Qiaoning I won't give in to you. Qiaoning I stroked her forehead with a headache. Well, she really can't do anything about Sun Shangmei. Sun Shangmei, would you like to go out for a walk with me? Yang Xiaoli stood in front of Sun Shangmei with a smile. You don't need to pretend to be a good person, Sun Shangmei glared at her. If you want to flatter the monitor, you can do it yourself. Don't think about using me as your capital for flattering. Sun Shangmei, you are simply a mad dog. Yuan Mengmeng took a step forward and grabbed her by the collar. You keep telling yourself how righteous you are all day long, but right now, you are making Class 3 a laughing stock because of you alone. Is this what you call righteousness? Or, is this the righteousness of your red flag commune? You say I can do it, but you can't say our commune. Ah! My eyes, Sun Shangmei punched Yuan Mengmeng down on the bed, covered his eyes, and curled up into a ball. Blood, Yang Xiaoli screamed and ran out quickly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. First marriage then love, Mr. Mayor please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan. Chapter 121. I'm too tired, my body is a bit overdrawn, so I have no choice but to change the military makeup, code a chapter and get married first. Tomorrow, warm up, and get married first. There will be a chapter at noon tomorrow, dear friends, you can read it around 12 o'clock. Seeing the blood flowing from Yuan Mengmeng's fingers, Sun Shangmei froze with a bang in her head. The punch she swung was only with 70% strength. How could it be? What if Yuan Meng's eyes go blind? Qi Jihong quickly rushed to Yuan Mengmeng's side. Meng Meng, don't move around, Xiao Yan has gone to find Dr. Jing, you wait a while, hold on for a while. At this time, Xiao Ning I had already approached, and she bent down and patted Yuan Meng Meng, don't cry, just feel it, is it hurting the eye socket, or... She couldn't bear to say the following words, really, that puddle of blood on the bed sheet is horrible. Chu Xia and Luo Xiaoqing and Lu Meijun also came over, looking at Yuan Meng Meng's appearance, they couldn't bear it, no matter how hateful she is usually, but she is a comrade in arms after all, if, just in case. Looking at the pool of blood, everyone didn't think well. Meng Meng, don't be afraid, the doctor will be here in a while, don't move, don't move. Half of Qi Jihong's body was almost pressed against Yuan Meng Meng's body. Wu, am I, going blind, I'm only so young, I don't want, to be blind, Wu. Xiao Ning I hurriedly stopped her, don't cry, you hurt your eyes and still cry, do you sincerely don't want eyes anymore? She's already scared enough, but you still scare her, Qi Jihong glared at Xiao Ning I angrily, if something really happened to her, it's all your fault. If it wasn't for helping you, Xiao Yan wouldn't need to talk to Sun Shangmei, and there would be no conflicts, and Meng Meng wouldn't be too blind to fight with Sun Shangmei, it's all your fault. You. Xiao Ning I looked at her speechlessly. Where is this all? Qi Jihong turned to look at Sun Shangmei who was still in a daze, if there is something wrong with Meng Meng's eyes, see if Meng Meng's mother won't dig your eyes out. I didn't do it on purpose. After recovering, Sun Shangmei murmured and defended, I didn't use much strength. At this time, Yang Xiaoyan ran in hastily, Meng Meng, Captain Zheng is here. Zheng Meili, who followed closely behind, went straight to Yuan Meng Meng and said softly, Meng Meng. Don't be afraid, slowly raise your head and let me see where it hurts. I have no idea. I just feel that the eyes are very painful, but I can't tell exactly where it hurts. Yuan Meng Meng raised his head slowly, the blood between his fingers had dried up, and he looked very scary. Put your hands away, don't be afraid. Zheng Meili patted her lightly as if coaxing a child. With the loosening of the fingers, the originally closed eyes appeared. Saw a wound in the corner of her eye. Zheng Meili breathed a sigh of relief, it should just hurt the corner of the eye, try to open your eyes to see. Yang Xiaoyan stretched her head anxiously on the side, Meng Meng. Be obedient, slow down. Eyelids fluttered, Yuan Meng Meng cried, it hurts, Captain, I hurt. You covered it for such a long time just now, and with the psychological effect, you will definitely feel pain. Be obedient, open it slowly, and show me. Lin Mengran and Chu Xiaojing, who hadn't moved their positions to watch the excitement, came over and felt squeezed. Qi Jihong turned around and stared at them, what are you doing? What are you doing? What do you think? Lin Mengran raised her eyebrows wickedly, why don't you know about me? Do you want to tell everyone what I did just now? Qi Jihong's eyes sparkled, he got up quickly, and put on a smiling face, if you want to come and take a look, please tell me in a friendly voice, look at you, I was shocked. What time is it, you guys are still making trouble. Before Yuan Meng Meng's eyes opened, the two of them started to make a fuss again, and Zheng Meili felt that her head was going to explode. Why are there so many things going on in class 3? It's only been less than 10 days, and I've had 2 fights, and I've seen injuries every time, but it's really good enough. Lin Mengran spread out her hand without saying a word. In the palm of her hand was a small blade, the kind of thin blade that is placed in a beheading knife. What do you mean? Zheng Meili looked at her, feeling that things must not be as she imagined. Girls love beauty, how could it be? The captain should have already guessed what it means. Lin Mengran looked at Yang Xiaoli with a smile, you three, are you bored or not? Just to grab a monitor, what? When Lin Mengran flashed out the blade, Yang Xiaoli's complexion changed, and at this moment, it was bluish black. Lin Mengran, what nonsense are you talking about? What enmity do I have with you? You want to frame me like this? Ever since ZhenMei came in, Sun Shangmei had shrunk to the corner of the wall, wishing to squeeze herself into the crack of the wall. Hearing the conversation between the two, Sun Shangmei finally came back to life, and came to Yang Zili in a few steps. So you framed me. Looking at ZhenMei, Captain, I used very little strength just now, and I felt that it was impossible for me to injure her eyes. It was Yang Zili who designed me. She pretended to be nice to me these days just to design me. ZhenMei waved her hand at her to signal her to shut up, and turned to look at Lin Mengran. Tell me, what's going on? Lin Mengran pointed at Qi Jihong. When I took the blade out of Yuan Mingmeng's hand, I just happened to see her. Before, the three of them discussed in the toilet in a low voice, and I heard a few words. After a short contact, you will naturally understand the truth of the whole matter. ZhenMei looked at Yang Zili and the others. I am very democratic. If you have anything to defend, you can say it now. She spouts blood. Yang Zili blushed and pointed at Lin Mengran. She had the blade in her hand a long time ago. Just now, she approached Jihong just to cut her palm. Lin Mengran stared at her with a funny face. According to what you said, isn't her attitude just now very strange? Can you tell me why she pretended to be okay after being slapped by me? Don't tell me that she and I have friendship, and I'm hiding it for me on purpose. Even a fool would not believe it. As he said, he pulled Yuan Mingmeng's hand and opened her fingers, and there was a thin wound on the palm of his hand. You won't say, this is what I wrote for her, right? Yang Zili's face turned pale immediately. She bit her lip hard, and looked at Lin Mengran with unwilling eyes. Why do you have to target me? My grandfather taught me that we can't harm others, but we can't watch others harm others and ignore it. Lin Ranmen shrugged. If you didn't go too far, I wouldn't bother to get involved. This matter has nothing to do with Zili, it's my idea. I don't want Jiaoning II to continue to be the monitor, and I don't want Sun Shangmei to become Zili's assistant. After getting along for the past few days, I can already feel Sun Shangmei's character, so I deliberately provoked her to make a move. Then, when I covered my eyes, I deliberately scratched the palm of my hand and the corner of the eye. Originally, I wanted to scratch the corner of the eye hard. But, because I was afraid of pain, I didn't dare to be cruel. Captain, Lin Mengran obviously wanted to be the class monitor, so she deliberately brought this matter up to Zili. The three of us are usually together. She thought she would do this, but Zili couldn't explain it clearly. It really has nothing to do with Zili. Chu Xia accidentally glanced at Yuan Mengmeng, and really couldn't see that she was quite loyal at the critical moment, but after thinking about it, she realized again, and the reason she did this was to beat Yang Zili. If all previous efforts were wasted, wouldn't she be hurt in vain? I believe that when she and Qi Jihong came to the army, they should have some kind of mission on them. This time, Yuan Mengmeng has recited it, and at most she will be punished alone. Correspondingly, the Yang family should give the Yuan family some compensation. Then, everything she did had meaning. She really deserves to be a child of a politician. She played with her heart and mind, but she didn't want to get lucky. Even if Lin Mengran didn't find out, ZhenMei was a doctor. Seeing the wound on her face, can you not doubt it? Who can make a thin gash with a fist? No, or maybe they originally wanted to blame Sun Shangmei for the matter of the blade. Speaking of which, Sun Shangmei really had a turn of luck this time. This Lin Mengran. Chu Xia looked over and met the other party's gaze, and smiled at her. Lin Mengran looked at Yuan Mengmeng. Are you sure, Yang Zili doesn't know? Yuan Mengmeng nodded solemnly, of course. Qi Jihong was also forced by me. When she persuaded me just now, I forced the blade to her. Otherwise, she would not have been injured. Then I'm confused. When you fell on the bed just now, you turned your head towards Yang Xiaoli, who had her back to you. Why did you see blood? Lin Mengran blinked her eyes in doubt. Yang Xiaoli, do you have special abilities? Are you clairvoyant? I. Meng Meng, needless to say. Yang Xiaoli interrupted Yuan Meng Meng and looked at Zheng Meili. Captain, I did all of this. I am not convinced that Jiaoning II is the squad leader. How is she better than me? The endless problems of Class 3 fully illustrate this point. Those who are able live in it. Is it wrong for me to make Class 3 the strongest class? I know that the captain will say, since he wants to be the squad leader, why not use normal means of competition? The problem is that the people in this room all have an instinctive rejection of Meng Meng Jihong and me. The reason is nothing more than our family circumstances, but can this be our fault? Time is too tight, and it is impossible for them to understand me, so I have to take some measures. As for Sun Shangmei, I don't want to share my crotch with her. Specifically, it is like this: if you want to deal with me, you can listen to it as you please, but I will not just give in like this. Soldiers are not tired of deceit. In order to achieve the goal, it is advisable to use some means occasionally. First marriage then love. Mr. Mayor, please be kind. Author, Zhao Nuan Nuan. Chapter 122. One update arrives. There are 2 more updates today, dear friends. Let's spread the pink. Looking at Yang Xiaoli, who stood opposite her with a stubborn face, Zheng Meili sighed softly. Do you know why I brought you to the office alone? The captain wants to give me a chance. Doesn't that make sense? Zheng Meili stroked her forehead helplessly. Yang Xiaoli, is it worth doing such a thing just for the sake of being the class monitor? Yang Xiaoli straightened her back. Win the king and lose the bandit, I will accept how the captain punishes me. No matter how straight you stand, it doesn't mean that what you are doing is correct, and you will be the winner. Zheng Meili looked at her speechlessly, not knowing what to say. She has studied the information of every team member, and Yang Xiaoli is no exception. Yang Xiaoli's father is the mayor of City A, her grandfather has just retired from the position of governor, and other uncles also hold important positions. In Province A, they are definitely the ones who call the shots. Mr. Yang has 3 sons and 4 grandsons, but Yang Xiaoli is the only granddaughter. It is conceivable how much Yang Xiaoli is favored at home. When she was in school, Yang Xiaoli was the absolute bully. Yuan Mengmeng and Qi Jihong have been her little followers since elementary school. The relationship between the 2 little followers is not very harmonious, but as long as something happens, the 2 will definitely stand up unanimously. Sending Yang Xiaoli to serve as a soldier this time is Master Yang's intention. Before, the Yang family sent Yang Xiaoli to college. It didn't take long for her to become a public enemy of girls. Yang's mother went to school to visit her daughter and found that the situation was grim. Fearing that her daughter would be plotted against by others, she had to go through the procedure of dropping out of school for her daughter. Yang Xiaoli was bored at school. Happy to go home and be at ease, he carried his luggage and followed Mama Yang back to City A. When he was young, he spoiled his little granddaughter. Now, seeing his little granddaughter like this, Mr. Yang was in such a headache. After much deliberation, he decided to send Yang Xiaoli to serve as a soldier. Ordinary female soldiers suffer too much, and the old man is reluctant, so he sends his little granddaughter to be a medical soldier. Of course, it's not that he never thought about letting his little granddaughter be a more relaxed literary soldier, but after much deliberation, the idea that an actor can't stand on stage in his bones prevailed, and finally he gave up the idea. It is precisely because of this information that Zheng Meili has been fully prepared since the recruits registered, waiting to meet Yang Xiaoli's dismissal. She did not give her the position of squad leader. I believe she will not be convinced. But Yang Xiaoli's performance in the next period of time. But it was quite beyond Zheng Meili's expectation. Although she expressed dissatisfaction, she didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Originally, she thought that she was holding back all her energy and wanted to show off her power during the public selection. In the end, she made a mistake again. If you obtain the position of squad leader by your own ability during the selection process, I would appreciate you very much, but what you are doing now really makes me despise. Yang Xiaoli glanced at Zhenmei lightly, then turned her head out of the window. Your protest like this will only make me think you are cowardly. Zhenmei looked at her firmly. Since birth, you have gained more than other children. Or, because it is too easy to get, you take giving for granted. You think that as long as you appear, others will give in, right? But Yang Xiaoli, why? Why do you let others back down for you? Do you have that qualification? If you want to win the respect of others, you need to rely on your own efforts, not the shadow of your elders. Needless to say, you can drive me home, Yang Xiaoli said indifferently. Zhenmei frowned. Something was wrong. If Yang Xiaoli was aiming for this result, it would have been impossible to cooperate with Jiaoning II before. Or, what she did before was really thinking about gaining the favor of the team members in a short period of time, so as to gain points for her in the election, but what caused her to suddenly change her mind? Okay, I apologize to you for what I said just now. If there is something difficult to say, tell me. Zhenmei stood up and looked directly at her. Go back like this, will your grandfather accept it? Yang Xiaoli's eyes turned red. I want to go back and be with my grandpa. What do you mean? Zhenmei was puzzled. My grandfather is terminally ill. Yang Xiaoli burst into tears uncontrollably. He sent me to be a soldier because he was worried that if something happened to him, no one else would be able to control me, so he wanted to find a way out for me in advance. Now I really regret my ignorance before, but I have no other way. Captain, please, fire me. I sleep at night, and in my dream, there are all the figures of Grandpa smiling and getting farther and farther away from me. It's about to collapse. When did you know? The day before yesterday. Who told you that? Ming Meng's mother came to see Meng Meng. She always looked at me wrongly. She had to tell me when I questioned her. I know that if I ask for leave, the captain will definitely allow it, but the leave can't be too long, especially when I am in the recruiting period. The time is even less likely to be too long. Captain, I don't want to regret for the rest of my life. I want to go home. This method is the only thing that stopped my grandfather from letting me be a soldier. Zhenmei frowned and looked at her. I'll check this matter for you, but you, before that, give me a good training, okay? Captain. Yang Xiaoli's eyes widened in surprise. I did such a thing. How will you explain to others if you don't fire me? This is my business. Zhenmei snorted coldly. Do you think you are filial? If your grandfather knew that you were sent back for this reason, do you think he would let you accompany him at ease? No, it's not bad if you are mad. I also warn you, don't make any more messes for me. If it's not because I respect Mr. Yang's personality, I won't help you. Captain. Yang Xiaoli gritted her teeth. Then can you tell me why you treat Lin Chuxia so well? Isn't she just a little rural female soldier? Why did it involve Chuxia again? Zhenmei waved her hands impatiently. Okay, you go back first, and I will find out about this matter before I decide how to deal with you. Team leader. Zhenmei interrupted her. No discussion. Yes, Yang Xiaoli had no choice but to respond, and walked out with her head drooping. Since she was a child, her grandfather loved her the most. For his grandfather, she would die. At the door, she suddenly remembered something. Yang Xiaoli stopped in her tracks. Captain, if it's for Lin Chuxia's benefit, you shouldn't favor her like that. Since when did I favor her? Zhenmei retorted reflexively. Actually, you are very clear about whether you favored her, or you did it because she was too weak and you loved her a little bit. However, just because you love her doesn't mean everyone loves her. The better you treat her, the more everyone will reject her. Besides, if you are assigned to the medical team in the future, if you can't keep up. After a short pause, Yang Xiaoli said, war, no sympathy for the weak. Before Zhenmei could say anything, Yang Xiaoli's figure quickly disappeared. Zhenmei frowned tightly. Yang Xiaoli's uncle is from the National Special Affairs Department. I believe that what she said is definitely not aimless, but I haven't heard the third brother say which country is about to move. Moreover, it is absolutely impossible for Uncle Yang to tell his niece about such a private matter, so there is only one possibility: this girl overheard it. Alas, from this point of view, this girl is not as annoying as the rumors say, she is just spoiled and arrogant. When Yang Xiaoli returned to the dormitory, everyone was still awake. Seeing her go in, Yuan Mengmeng and Qi Jihong greeted her first, looking at her with worry. I'm fine. Yang Xiaoli looked straight at Chuxia. Lin Chuxia, come out for a while, I have something to talk to you. Without even thinking about it, Luo Xiaoxian quickly stood in front of Chuxia. Let's discuss everything in the room. Lu Meijun hesitated for a moment, and also walked over to Chuxia's side. She didn't speak, but her attitude was very obvious. She was also from Chuxia's country. Chuxia hugged the two of them and patted them. It's okay, I'll go. Early summer. Luo Xiaoxian grabbed her arm anxiously. You have seen what happened just now, you. Don't worry. Chuxia patted her little hand. At this time, she can't do anything to me, and I haven't done anything to offend her, so there's nothing to be afraid of, right? Yang Xiaoli raised her eyebrows. Lin Chuxia, now, I appreciate you a little bit. Yang Xiaoli, I believe that you are not a random person. Xiao Ning stood up and stared straight at Yang Xiaoli. Actually, if you have anything to say, if it's not a personal matter, you can say it in front of everyone in the dormitory. Are you also worried that I will be unfavorable to Lin Chuxia? Yang Xiaoli spread her hands. Xiao Ning just because I followed you earlier, doesn't mean I will always follow you. If you want me to listen to you, wait until you compete for the class leader with your own ability. Okay, I don't want to say anything else now. Lin Chuxia, come out with me if you have the guts. After speaking, he went straight out of the dormitory without looking back. Thank you, monitor. Don't worry, I'll be fine. When she reached Xiao Ning's side, Chuxia stopped and thanked her. You. Xiao Ning hesitated for a moment. His eyes lingered on Yuan Mengmeng and Qi Jihong's faces for a while, and then said, be careful. Xiaoxian, you don't have to follow, trust me, she won't do anything to me. Even if she does at other times, she will definitely not at this time, trust me. Chuxia pushed back Luo Xiaoxian, who was following her, before stepping out. Yang Xiaoli, who was standing outside the door, saw Chuxia coming out, turned around and led the way to the playground. She didn't stop until she reached the corner of the playground, and looked at Chuxia fixedly. Lin Chuxia, although I don't know why Captain Zhou wants to marry you, I feel that I have an obligation to tell you that a woman must rely on herself.